Yo, what's going on, guys? It is FoxyDude98 here, and welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on my channel. Today, this is actually the very first time in my F1 2017 Career Mode series, that's Season 1 and Season 2, that a part has actually failed on our car. There's things starting off badly then for this episode. You can see that the chassis weight upgrade that we decided to do for the last race has actually failed, and we need to, for the first time ever, spend resource points to actually fix it. But today we are here ready to start off with the Mexican Grand Prix, and as you can see, we need to gather up 450 resource points in order to actually get the component working, as it has failed, and unfortunately that's a bit of a disaster to start things off. But nonetheless, we are still in a very, very clean position at the moment. Of course, we have wrapped up the World Drivers' Championship. We did that in the last Grand Prix. And at the moment, we're just looking forward into the Constructors' Championship because, of course, things are still working over there. And Lewis Hamilton is very close to beating Sebastian Vettel in the Drivers' Championship. I'm not sure what the gap is, actually, but I definitely want to get Hamilton in front of Vettel in this championship. So I'm going to be sort of playing a slight second fiddle to Lewis Hamilton, but not in a way where I'm just going to be the rear gunner. I basically just want to try my best to help Hamilton surge through the field and to overtake Vettel in the Drivers' Championship. So that's the aim. But anyway then, moving on then, we're going into the practice programs, and of course we need to do these practice programs now because of that failed part. But to be honest, I'm not that concerned. If needs be, if I do continue on with Mercedes for another season to make this car even more deadly and overpowered to the point where joining another team will make this thing super challenging, you know, it's not that much of a problem because you get resource points at the end of the season. So, I don't know, I've sort of held away from it. Don't really need it. I just wanted to try and make the Mercedes car as overpowered as possible, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. There's still a lot of work to do on this Mercedes car, though, especially, again, with the rear downforce. Still doesn't work out well. But anyway, then, we completed the practice programs, got ourselves a couple of 100 resource points there, which are going to go nicely towards, basically, A, repairing that part, and B, just, you know, working on other elements of the car through the upcoming sessions. But as you can see then, we're moving on towards qualifying, and you can see that we're very, very close to beating Sebastian Vettel in the driver rivalry. We literally just need to get 1 point, so we've basically done that already. And as you can see, a little bit of oversteer on the exit of the last corner, but coming across the line, we set a 1:16.1, I believe that is, and it sets as the fastest. I don't believe it's the fastest overall. I lied, it was. The fastest in Q1, but Lewis Hamilton, as my light decides to fall over during commentary, there's a ghost in my house. But yeah, Hamilton was on the super soft tyres, whereas I was on the ultras, so I expect Hamilton to be a lot faster. And into Q2, we managed to beat our previous lap time, setting a 1:15.9, so progress is there. But Lewis Hamilton, as I said, on the ultra soft tyres, just sets a much better lap of 1:15.5. and really puts me under pressure as Verstappen almost getting knocked out in Q2, but just scrapes on through. Into the last qualifying session, you can see here that we're trying everything we can now to get as close as we can to Lewis Hamilton's lap time across the line. It is a 1:15.9, which is only good enough for P4. It was not a very good day today in qualifying, out-qualified by Lewis Hamilton and also out-qualified by the two Ferraris, so not a strong result there, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, we'll just have to work with what we've got, and P4 nonetheless is a decent starting position, but it's not actually going to be where we are starting, as for some reason the game pauses as I'm looking at the points. But anyway, good news, we didn't beat Vettel in the rivalry, but it says that we did. Even though we have 29 out of 30 points, we won the rivalry. So, yay. Congratulations to myself for illegitimately winning it. But anyway, you can see then, looking at the race goals, I believe they want us to finish in the top 2, and they also want us to beat Vettel and the championship target. We've won the championship, so that's not really a necessity. Actually, we don't need to beat Vettel, because apparently we won the rivalry. And oh, there it is. Okay, we've got 30 points now. My ticks just didn't come on through. But we're not going to be starting in P4. The gearbox is on 62%, and unfortunately, it was having some problems in Q2. I had to set Q3. I had to set my first lap in Q3. My gearbox broke, and then I decided to change it for the race. And then I was having a look at the engine components, and I went over to the 5th engine element, and I was going to start at the back of the grid and just, you know, take all my nice fresh parts here and just fight through the field. But for some reason, it said, you know, do you want to apply your component? So I don't actually take a penalty for this. I obviously have done if I hadn't done any running with it at all, it would have given me a slam dunk penalty. So I've obviously used this 5th power unit, maybe even just by selecting it when I was getting an engine penalty or something like that. So Yeah, it doesn't matter. But we're going to be starting down in 8th place. So we only took 4 places out of the 5. And that's because Kimi Räikkönen and also quite a few park drivers took penalties. So Kimi Räikkönen, Perez, Ericsson, Massa, Stroll and Ricciardo all took penalties, which basically demoted me down to 8. So I took a 4-place grid penalty, in other words, because of the demotion for Kimi Räikkönen, because his demotion was a lot further down than mine. But onto the grid then, to start off this Mexican Grand Prix, we're going to be doing a 2-stop race, a set of Ultra Softs, and then 2 sets of Super Soft tyres, which will take us comfortably to the end of the race, and then we don't need to worry about anything else here. So as you can see then, on the grid now, ready to start the formation lap, and you can see I'm just doing a little bit of weaving with my wheel wide, because I can. And we're getting away now, and you can see we've got Ocon in front, but we're here on the grid now for the Mexican Grand Prix 5. Red lights, and it is now, when the lights out, we go here to start this Mexican Grand Prix, putting the car immediately into lean fuel mixture, and then back up into Rich to get the better exit on the start of the track, and now into the secondary phase. It's the long run towards turn 1, so we expect to get into the slipstream here. We've got Verstappen, Grosjean, Kvyat, and Sainz all battling hard here in towards turn 1. I've been given a little bit of a bump there from Sainz, but I've made it through, and Kvyat battling Vettel here, so go on, Danny Kvyat. You're not even in Formula 1 anymore, but still fight for what you believe in, even though he probably actually will return in the Japanese Grand Prix, not the Japanese Grand Prix, the US Grand Prix. We get past Kvyat, and then we're going to take a lunge down the inside on Sebastian Vettel and make it stick, and give him some space down the inside line because he was still peaking, and Kvyat again giving a little bit of a hassle there to Sebastian Vettel. Really racy start from Danny Kvyat, but unfortunately the Ferrari is obviously so much more powerful, and you just have to sit in behind and wait a little bit longer. On to lap 8 of the Grand Prix now. I could not close the gap to Lewis Hamilton. The gap was stuck at 2 seconds. He was gaining half a second in the middle and final sector, and I was gaining it all back in the first sector. So I'm going to play a nice little tactical game here to get myself up and close and personal with my teammate. I'm going for the undercut. I saw that Lewis Hamilton had not decided to dive into the pits, and I'm going to be making the undercut move now to pit for a set of super soft tyres. Funnily enough, this is actually my genuine pit lap. I'm not pitting any earlier or later than I needed to. This is my genuine pit lap, but it does mean that I am going to get the undercut on Hamilton. So, in fairness, things might actually just turn out the way I wanted. But coming out of the pits now here, we've got, I believe we've got Jolyon Palmer, Nico Hülkenberg, and also Esteban Ocon all battling for position here. So, is that the second Renault? Yes, second Renault of Hülkenberg. So I believe Hülkenberg has made his way past Ocon, and it looks like to me that Ocon's got a problem because he's been out-dragged and outdone by a Renault, and Jolyon Palmer is now attacking him. So Ocon clearly with a problem in this Grand Prix, but he is running the super soft tyres, don't forget. So that could be something to do with it now. As we have a look at Ocon and Palmer, just nowhere really to go here. We just have to sit and wait a little bit, and this is costing me on my outlap because Hamilton is on those ultra soft tyres, and I need to take full advantage whilst he's doing that. But I brake late here on Ocon and also on Palmer, going very, very close to corner cutting, but I still had a wheel, my right wheel on the track, so I'm fine there. Onto the back straight now, you can see there is Hülkenberg, there is Lewis Hamilton, so he has rejoined in front, but that gap is so much shorter, and in towards turn 1, I wasn't expecting a late braking move, but I just about managed to pull it off, and it was because I just broke later, and Hamilton just broke very early. But in towards turns 1, 2, and 3, we've now taken the lead, and the undercut has worked against Lewis Hamilton. As you can see now, he is trying to fight back, though, but we've got DRS to defend ourselves with, and this is where the race-long battle versus Lewis Hamilton begins on lap 10. On to the end of lap 10 now, start of lap 11. Lewis Hamilton is in the slipstream of myself, and this time he's going to have that straight line speed of the Mercedes, and he's also going to have that DRS, which is just absolutely deadly around this track. And as you can see now, just staying in the slipstream, just pulling out at the latest possible point here. He doesn't actually have DRS open. That's a bit of an interesting one. I never spotted that on the replay cam. So Hamilton not taking advantage, and around the outside here, we're going to defend from Lewis Hamilton with myself here, still in the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. We're going to have to do a lot more defending than what we've already been doing here, because of course Lewis Hamilton, you can see this time now, he has got the DRS open, but unfortunately it's just not enough on that second straight. On to lap 11 of the Grand Prix now, you can see that we're actually quite low on fuel. We've only got 0.4 fuel in the back pocket here, and if we're going to defend from Hamilton for such a long time, this isn't what we really needed. But Carlos Sainz there drops himself into the pits now, so it means that we take effective control of the race and the lead. But of course Lewis Hamilton has other ideas and comes flying past there with the DRS and also with the power of that Mercedes, but I have the power of my own brakes, and down the inside here on Lewis Hamilton. Fair play to him. He sticks it around the outside, but in towards the complexes of turn 2 and 3. I just about hold it here and get better traction off the exit, but Hamilton slots in right behind my car here, and this time I'm going to move over to the inside line to defend this time. Hamilton there on the outside line, and towards we go now, and there it is, defending the inside line. He still sticks it though, Lewis Hamilton, but this time around the outside, we get the better traction there to defend from Lewis Hamilton, and we can be clear for the time being. On to lap 12 of the Grand Prix now. It is literally just lap after lap after lap of just fighting at this stage in the Mexican Grand Prix. What I've really wanted is a good classic battle versus Lewis Hamilton, and we're getting it here in Mexico. But this time, unfortunately, something that we've noticed is that all the time me and Hamilton are fighting, look at that, Sebastian Vettel has closed the gap down, and he is now right in contention for this Grand Prix. So despite me and Hamilton fighting really heavily, I've now got to think about Vettel as well, because if I'm not careful, Vettel's going to get involved in this, and not only may he overtake Lewis Hamilton, but he might even snatch the lead, and he might genuinely have the pace to get away. And I nearly actually oversteered into the pits there, and that would have been embarrassing if I did. But anyway, on to the end of the lap once again now. Hamilton is going to get the DRS, and it's just the same. It's the repetitiveness. Hamilton is using the DRS to his advantage, and he's doing it very tactically there as we get very close towards each other. But Vettel just nowhere near fast enough in a straight. So you can see Hamilton there towards the inside, and I swoop around the outside there. That just shows you how overpowered that outside line tactic is. Giving the AIs a tight line in towards turn 1, and then just going around the outside. Just get better traction and better apex speed, and it really does help you out here. As Vettel now getting very close, but Hamilton's the guy I'm worried about, and in towards these complex corners we managed to stay in front for the time being. But something that I've noticed, which obviously Sebastian hasn't really got the measure of us on, is this was the very first track where I really spotted that the straight line speed of the Mercedes-Benz and the upgrades that we did to the power unit have really taken a huge effect, because you can see even with the DRS, even with the power of the Ferrari engine, even with the slipstream, Sebastian Vettel is not close enough to go for a move. Look, he's not got the pace or anything to even challenge me and Lewis Hamilton. So as soon as I spotted this, all I knew is I can battle with Lewis Hamilton as hard as I can. I've just not got it. I cannot compromise his line too much, otherwise it will let Vettel through. But for the time being, honestly, Sebastian's not that much of a rival now, come to think of it. You know, this Mercedes car is that powerful in a straight line that, you know, he's not really that much of a necessity as we continue to defend here against Lewis Hamilton now with him. I'm going to move over to the outside line towards turn 1, which is going to give me the inside line for 2 and 3. But you can see here that I just hold the position on Lewis Hamilton, and you can see, there we go, clearly defending the position, and we can continue on with. But Hamilton, yet again, this is what I mean, look, this is from an on-board perspective now. Hamilton is moving over. Vettel's there as well. He's got DRS and slipstream, just not fast enough to do anything here. And then as you can see, into these complexes, Hamilton sort of just creeps his nose in there. I have to react very suddenly towards Lewis Hamilton there, as I thought I was going to crash into the back of him, basically. But now we carry on, and again, nearly oversteering into the pit. So definitely still trouble with the rear. But once again, look, Lewis Hamilton just 2 tenths back, and you can see he's going to absolutely fly through. And here comes Sebastian Vettel as well. But going to give Lewis Hamilton a very aggressive move there. Very aggressive, forcing him very far towards that inside line. And once again, look, Hamilton sticks to that inside line, and I'll just swoop around the outside, take a tight line in towards turn 2, but I can just brake heavily on the apex there, and that will then give me the opportunity to set myself up and stop the switchback coming in from Hamilton. But once again, look, he's got good speed, and I spotted this, and I decided to go defensive here towards the inside line, not deep towards the inside line, more to the middle of the track here. Send the car wide so it makes sure that I get a very tight line. Stop that as we get a huge snap of oversteer on the exit there. So again, just playing some cheeky little tactics here to stop Hamilton from getting in front. And that's all I need to be doing, is continuing to stop Hamilton. And again, oversteer galore right now in this Grand Prix. And we've been saving some fuel as well. And you can see, once again, Lewis Hamilton getting very close. We're going to come under the bridge now. You can see Hamilton deep in the slipstream. Vettel's not even bothering to go into the slipstream, because you can just see how quick we are. It's just because we're fighting that Vettel is just there, basically. But in towards turn 1, 2 and 3, we once again go to the inside line this time, and we actually defend it very comfortably, and we don't need to worry about Lewis Hamilton for the time being, and we can continue on our way. But now you can see we need to think about potential tyre strategies, because of course you can see the back end sliding. That's a horrible oversteer on the exit of the final corner. That's going to give Lewis Hamilton a very, very clean run here. And as you can see now, on the back straight, Hamilton moving over with DRS. This might just send him straight through into the lead because we had a horrible exit, and it does just that there. Hamilton into the lead at the Mexican Grand Prix, but he moves over to the inside line, and I have to do a very late dart there. I was actually going to make an outbreaking move for the outside line, but Hamilton blocked that, so I had to react quickly and move to the inside line. Very, very quick thinking there, but I made the move stick and up back into the lead of the Grand Prix. But we're just continuing to fight it every single lap on these two straights, because of course the middle sector is just impossible to overtake, and it's just these two straights. Me and Lewis Hamilton are just battling so hard, and Vettel's more like a spectator rather than an attacker at this stage in the race. And Lewis Hamilton now towards turns 1 and 2 and 3. He's got a good run this time. He brakes nice and late, but this time I defend the position very carefully. I give him some room on turn 2, but he doesn't need it into turn 3. And now I can just continue on my way here. And you can see we're still in front of Hamilton for the time being. On to lap 21 of the Grand Prix now, and it appears Lewis Hamilton wants a little bit of payback, and he's gone for the undercut this time for a set of soft tyres. I was going to be going on for a few laps longer and pit for a set of super soft tyres, but I decided to actually react to what Lewis Hamilton done and go in for a set of soft tyres. The super softs for me, they were falling off the cliff. I could not control the car, and you saw it in the middle stint, so I knew I needed to get a set of soft tyres on and just take the durability tyre hit and just go with it. And as you can see, coming out the pits, Hamilton pitted for a set of soft tyres, but this time the undercut, surprisingly, it didn't work for Lewis Hamilton. But he's pitted for a set of soft tyres, but yeah, I'm shocked about that. The undercut didn't work for Lewis Hamilton. I would have thought he'd be in front of me and I'd be the one having to play the chasing game again. Because, of course, in the first stint, it was the chasing game for me. Just couldn't quite get into that DRS range. Otherwise, I would have been able to have made an impact. In the second stint, Hamilton was playing the chasing game. And now here in the third stint, I was expecting to be back on Hamilton's tail, but no, I'm the one who's going to have to defend from Lewis Hamilton. And Sebastian Vettel, weirdly enough, has pitted for a set of ultra soft tyres, so he's going to be even faster than me and Hamilton. And just look at that, look at the speed that Lewis Hamilton is carrying in towards someone, but braking very hard around the outside here. We make the move stick with Lewis Hamilton, and that is still in second place at the moment. That's Raikkonen up in front, who I believe is yet to make his second stop in the race, doing a very long stint on a set of soft tyres here, but eventually he will be pitting. In fact, I believe there he is. He's coming into the pits now, so that means we now take the race lead here, and there is confirmation in the top left-hand corner of your screens that Sebastian Vettel is on ultra soft tyres, so we'll make another stop. So that means that threat from Ferrari, I know, is going to diminish, and that's going to help me and Lewis Hamilton out, because we're going to basically scrap even more than we are right now. But in towards turns 1, 2, and 3, so Hamilton had a very good run, but we got a bad exit there. On the exit of turn 3, and even just the entire complex of corners itself, not very good for myself, but luckily, Lewis Hamilton just couldn't quite get close enough. And once again, more oversteer on the back end, and this is now down to me just pushing like hell. This is not a car that's uncontrollable. This is me pushing the car to its absolute limits here to keep Hamilton back in this race. I know Vettel is in third, and I know Lewis Hamilton needs the points on Vettel, but we can sort about that at another time. For now, I'm in full defense mode, and I go very close to Lewis Hamilton's front wing there, literally shutting the door as hard as I could on Lewis Hamilton, and we keep it in front for the time being. But of course, Hamilton's just going to keep pressing and pressing and pressing in this Grand Prix. We've got some yellow flags actually down towards, where is that? That's down towards the middle sector there, so I didn't spot that at first. I don't know if I've got a replay of it, but anyway, you can see that we're trying to push now. Lewis Hamilton here is actually going to go to the outside line here, so very sneaky one here. Going to take the racing line. This will help him out in towards the first corner. Going to brake very, very late towards the inside line here. Hamilton's still there though, and I just about managed to slam the door very firmly shut. And we're continuing onwards, still defending here on lap 29 of this Mexican Grand Prix. On to lap 30 of the Grand Prix now. We've got a car there. That is a Ferrari, and it's Kimi Raikkonen. And that looked like a right rear puncture from what I just saw then from that camera angle. I'm going to have to look at it from Kimi's point of view. Yeah, it's a right rear puncture, and we can see it there on the broadcasting view. And the car is just completely toppled. And there goes me and Hamilton, and Raikkonen there with a right rear puncture, just putting all misery to Ferrari, and their dismal second half of the season continues. Weirdly, that's exactly the same as real life. But we're carrying onwards now. We've still got to defend for Lewis Hamilton. Vettel has made another pit stop for a set of ultra soft tyres, so we don't need to worry about him now. It's a fight to the finish just between me and Hamilton, and towards first corner we go now. Hamilton sticks in behind for just a little bit longer, but we still have to keep in touch with him. And now we've got the crucial play of back markers with Stoffel Van Dorn as we get a bit of oversteer on the exit there, and we just managed to hold it. Onto that 34 of the Grand Prix now, very close towards the end of this race, and now I'm thinking to myself, Shall I let Hamilton through just so he can gain those points on Vettel? Because I've won the championship. I'm not too fussed on what happens. I want to get Hamilton second in the championship, but for now, I'm just going to keep on holding on to the lead here, and Hamilton now towards turn 1 we go, and as you can see, fending this one, but he's going to actually stick it there around the outside, but eventually I can just slam the door, but he's still there. I wanted to slam the door shut, but he's just not giving in, and this time we get the better traction, and that should stop Hamilton from getting a second run. You can see here the proximity arrow, he's going to get close, but onto the end of lap 35 now, he isn't actually going to get in front of us, but we've got some yellow flags actually in the S section, so someone has had a problem, and someone's actually out of the race, unfortunately there, so that's a bit of a shame. And it's Sebastian Vettel. You are actually got to be kidding me. Vettel is out of the Mexican Grand Prix, so I was gonna let Lewis Hamilton through on the end of this lap to give him the win, to give him the points, but that just happened. So yeah, Vettel's misery in the second half of the season continues with a DNF in Singapore. He failed to finish in Japan, which weirdly are the exact same results as in real life. So my career mode is kind of replica. And towards the checkered flag, knowing that Vettel is out of the race, I come through and win the Mexican Grand Prix. Pretty insane race overall. That was a great battle with Lewis Hamilton. We worked really hard to stay in front of him and just to not concede the position. And then as soon as I saw that Vettel DNF'd, I decided to hold on and just take the win because I knew Hamilton would gain 18 points on Sebastian Vettel. So he didn't really need to bother trying to get past me because at the end of the day, I knew that he was going to gain a significant amount of points on Sebastian Vettel. But as you can see then, Toto Wolff very happy with the race result, and you can see this was, I believe, my second race win in a row at Mexico in career mode, which is funny because both occasions I've been very far off the pace, but have just been able to get that win. Yeah, very happy with that. But anyway, onto the podium then, celebrating yet another race win today. Max Verstappen finishes in 3rd place then after Sebastian Vettel's late DNF here. And as you can see, trophy given to myself there. I don't seem as ecstatic as I was a couple of races ago to pick up a trophy, probably because I've had too many. But the champagne now flies here, and Verstappen celebrating as I'm going to just soak the cameraman like it basically always does. And you can see there, the top 3 standing false with yet another 1-2 for Mercedes-Benz as we are now rolling in the second half of the season. Looking at the full race classification, then you can see that the Force Indians did a great job there with Perez and Ocon, but both Ferraris finishing last with Raikkonen down in 20th and Vettel down in 19th, and both not scoring points. So yeah, in the driver's standings then, my gap is just a million Narnia miles away because of Vettel's poor luck. Lewis Hamilton though is now just 1 point behind Vettel, and in the Constructors' Championship, I believe Mercedes have now wrapped that up, and that is us Constructors' Champions as well as Drivers' Champions. So absolutely amazing stuff there. Couldn't be more happier for the team in general. And yeah, that's basically it for the Mexican Grand Prix. What an action-packed race. But guys, thank you so much for watching today's Grand Prix. If you guys have enjoyed the video, make sure to drop it a like. That'd be absolutely awesome. And if you're new around here as well, want to click the subscribe button and also ding-dong that bell in order to get notifications of when I do upload a video, and you can be part of the notification squad. And as you can see, picking up the resource points then, and also getting in the first driver points, which is only 20. Nothing crazy there. But that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the Mexican Grand Prix. It was an absolute cracker in my opinion. Next up is the Brazilian Grand Prix. I'll see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.